Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel, The Case Breakdown, where we simplify complex legal issues and show how they apply to real-world situations. Today, we are diving into a fascinating legal case making the headlines. The contract dispute between popular gospel artist Mercy Chinwo and her former record label, EeZee Conceptz. This case is packed with lessons about contract law, intellectual property law, and artist-label relationships. Let's break it down. To understand this case, let's start with some context. Mercy signed with EeZee Conceptz, a record label, early in her career.
I took you as a father. I was once your backup singer. I served you diligently. We signed a management contract in 2017. As we progressed, you tried to convince me to sign a 12-year contract.
The relationship seemed fruitful at first, leading to hit songs like Excess Love. However, things went south when both parties began accusing each other of contract breaches. First, let's talk about contract law. At the heart of this dispute is the allegation of contract breaches. Mercy Chinwo claims the label misappropriated her royalties, which, if true, could constitute a significant breach of their agreement. On the other hand, EeZee Conceptz alleges that Chinwo violated her obligations by refusing to deliver the required third studio album. This brings up two important questions. Were the contract terms clear, and did both parties fulfill their obligations? Now, in my experience as a commercial law attorney, in contract agreements or contractual agreements, we find out two things stand out, two important terms. They are called implied terms and express terms. Definitions. Implied terms mean terms or those terms of contract that, due to the nature of the contract, are implied to be clauses that are bound parties in the contract. For example, if you are entering a contract for tenancy, it is implied that you will use the property by the nature of a tenancy agreement. While express terms, on the other hand, simply means terms that, if not stated clearly in the contract, will not be deemed to be binding on both parties. Let's go back to our friend, that tenancy agreement again. An example of an express terms will be the subletting clause. If it was not stated that parties are allowed to sublet the property, no party can sublet that property. Now back to the Mercy Chinwo case. Was it stated clearly for Mercy to deliver 2 studio albums, 3 studio albums, 4 studio albums? In what time frame could she have delivered those albums concurrently? Now, also, was it stated clearly how they are going to take their royalty splits, how they are going to take their digital electronic marketing and distribution splits, known in the industry as DEMD splits? If she had any song with a side artist, was it stated how much or how many percent of the publishing or from royalties will that artist take? Did it state clearly ownership of the masters? Because that is not an implied clause. We've talked about the contract law part of this case. Now let's talk about the intellectual property law aspect of this case. The heart and soul of the artist's career, ownership of the music catalog. Mercy has accused EeZee Conceptz of withholding her music catalog, including all her masters of all the released songs she had made for them. But here's where things get complicated. who actually owns the right to her music. In my professional career as a lawyer and as a counsel representing some music labels, I can tell you this for sure. The label gives the artist sufficient money required to make the project or the song. When the song is made, the song goes back to the record label because it was the record label that sponsored the artist to record that song. In most contracts, the label owns the master's right, unless the artist has a special clause granting them ownership. And as earlier stated, it must be an express term. It is not implied. Ownership of the masters is not implied, otherwise stated. Did Mercy have a secret clause hidden in her contract that could give her the right to own her music? If she did, this could be the game changer. But I highly doubt that. As clearly shown on the screen, you can see samples of contractual terms, especially the master's right clause. And time after time, you can see that ownership of the catalog or the masters belongs to the record label. Next aspect of this case: tort law and false claims. A quick background. In Nigerian jurisprudence has civil and criminal law. In criminal law, parties pursue claim for damages, while in civil law, the defendant is being persecuted or prosecuted by the state for breaching its own law, and the punishment the defendant will face is prison terms. Now back to this case. Here's where the plot thickens. EeZee Conceptz CEO claims that Mercy fabricated reports to the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, accusing him of criminal activity to harass him. The purpose of contract is to state clearly the intentions of all parties and how they are legally bound. Most contracts carries terms like the governing law, severability clause, and a party's intention to be bound by the terms of this contract. Now, in case of breach of the contract, parties are to seek redress in court and not weaponize the agencies of state to go after the other party who may or may not have breached the terms of the contract. Remember earlier, I said government agencies only prosecute breaches of government laws. A contract agreement is a quasi-law between two parties, not a law of government. So government agencies are not expected to prosecute contractual disputes. In the Police Act of 2020, the police and any other equivalent agency are not a debt or are defined as not being a debt recovery agent. So they can't put their hands and their legs in civil matters. If those claims are proven false by Mercy, it could lead and land Mercy in hot water for defamation or even fraud. It can also enable EeZee Conceptz to bring a fundamental right enforcement procedure against both Mercy Chinwo and the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. Putting all three legal concepts, contract law, intellectual property law, and tort law, it becomes clear the case of both parties. Mercy, on the other hand, though having a genuine pain of or that the record label is not keeping its own side of the royalty split or sharing, in her initial contract, and also having grievances as to ownership of masters and catalog. She has not conducted the pretrial aspect of this case very well, if we are to believe EeZee Conceptz that the EFCC has been used or weaponized to go after him. The legal implications and remedy finally bears to mind. So what happened next? The court's job will be to determine whether fraud or breach of contract occurred and to issue a remedy, which possible outcomes could include financial compensation for the royalties Mercy was owed, if she is owed, contractual renegotiation. Maybe EeZee Conceptz will have to adjust their terms and include a 50-50 sharing or ownership of the master's right, and punitive measures against either party if misconduct is proven. The stakes here are high. So what can we all learn from this case? Here are 3 key lessons that every artist and label should take to heart. Number 1, read and understand your contract. Before you sign anything, if you don't get the legalese, get help. Clarify ownership rights. Whether it's royalties, music catalogs, or your masters, don't leave it to chance. Keep communications open. Disputes don't have to turn into courtroom drama. A good way to always maintain good communication is to insert an arbitration clause and a severability clause. The purpose of an arbitration clause is in times of dispute, parties can use the ADR, Alternative Dispute Resolution Mechanism, to negotiate and mediate issues between them without going to court and giving us courtroom drama, and also save you from massive legal headaches. Mercy Chinwo versus EeZee Conceptz is a real-life reminder of just how complicated the relationship between artists and labels can be. Whether you are a rising star or a seasoned label executive, this case is packed with lessons about contracts, intellectual property, and the importance of clear communications. What do you think about this dispute? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more legal deep dives. Thank you for watching.